Welcome to the studio, guys. Today we have Caleb Martin and Micah Osborne with us. Guys, introduce yourselves. What's your name and what's your major?
Yeah, I'm Micah Osborne. I'm in the 5-year student ministry program.
My name is Caleb, and I'm in the 5-year pastoral ministry program.
Amazing. It's so nice to have you guys here. So I just want to start off this short little interview with a couple questions for both of you. Caleb, I'm going to start with you. What motivated you to become chancellor of Schaeffer House?
The main reason I was the only option, so nobody else really wanted to do it, so that was a contributing factor. I wanted it, so I went and got it.
Yeah.
I also kind of had the want to do it.
Mhm.
It seemed appealing, and free housing is really nice.
So how did your expertise as regent inform your time with Schaeffer as chancellor? What did you bring in to the next year?
We put a lot of hard work into my first year, just building a community, and so that translated well with just the skills that I learned as regent, such as delegation and time management, really translated well into chancellor.
Yeah.
I do a lot of delegation as chancellor.
Yeah. Micah, I want to ask you the same question. What motivated you to pursue being male fellow?
Yeah, last year, Ethan Roney was our male fellow, and him just being there for us is kind of helping us transition to the next stage of life. Really helped me in my transition to college, and really just created like a sense of brotherhood within the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be able to continue that with our new students this year. So I was really encouraged by how Ethan led, and I just kind of wanted to continue and replicate what he did.
Jumping off that, you talked a lot about brotherhood and how Ethan inspired you to lead this year. How do you want to inspire the others in Schaeffer House, or what other words of wisdom could you provide to anybody pursuing to be a fellow male or female?
Yeah, so a major part of our job is kind of the RA side of it and making sure dorms are clean and just all that kind of stuff. But I think more important than that is the relationship side of it and the discipleship side of it.
Mm-hmm.
That for new students this year, I was one of the first people that they interacted with, and one of the people they interacted with on a regular basis when they were first here. And I know how important that was for me. So I think for people considering running for fellow, whether it's male fellow or female fellow, just know that your job primarily is just to be there for your students,
Yeah.
and just to kind of be an older brother or older sister in whatever context that looks like, whether it's helping with life transition or just being a friend in a new place and a new environment.
Yeah. What kind of advice, words of wisdom would you lend to anybody that wants to become a regent or a chancellor next year?
For regent specifically, there's a lot of time management that comes into it. Regent's it's a heavy burden and a lot of responsibility, so it's important to be able to balance those things well and finish all the tasks that you've been assigned. For chancellor, a large part of it is caring for people. So you have to do relationships well. A lot of it's people work. So it's learning how to care for your team and then shepherd them well so that they can be more of the hands-on people within the house.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I see a lot of the delegation in the way that you run things, and especially in like the interpersonal relationships that you have as chancellor. I think you both do a great job leading the house. You guys are doing a great job. You guys are killing it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to ask you guys, when did you feel called to student ministry, Micah, and who or what in your life um, motivated you to pursue that calling?
Yeah, my entire life, my dad has been in vocational ministry, but I had zero interest in pursuing that until my junior year of high school. I was given the opportunity to preach at the church I grew up at. And through the sermon writing process and through preaching and just that entire experience, God used that to call me into ministry. And I felt a particular heart just for high school and college students, just knowing kind of my story and how I hid a lot of what I was struggling with and going through through middle school and the beginning of high school, and knowing how many people there are that were like me. I just have a heavy burden on my heart for people like that, and I want to be able to minister to them and just lead them along and shepherd them.
How do you use that calling in your everyday life, especially as male fellow?
The big part is I lead a D group
Oh, really?
here on campus that you are a part of.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. I've enjoyed our discussions, and I think it allows us to get to know each other on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And I think just as male fellow, there's been a lot of situations that I'm not necessarily a big in charge authority figure, but I'm someone that I hope you guys know, like, is just here to listen and can just talk and shepherd and counsel
Definitely.
without telling you what
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, definitely. I think you knocked that out of the park, man. Caleb, I want to ask you the same question. When did you feel called, and who or what motivated you to pursue pastoral ministry?
I had seen vocational ministry my whole life. My dad's always been in it, and so is his dad, and like his uncle and my uncle. So I've seen a lot of vocational ministry done.
Yeah.
But similar to Micah, it wasn't my original plan. I didn't really feel the call to ministry until my freshman semester of college. All through high school, I planned to do engineering, so I was going to school for engineering. And that semester, I went on a missions trip, got back, and gave my testimony. And I had a family friend tell me I was going to be a pastor. And I said, "Whatever, Sarah, I'm going to do engineering." That Wednesday night, I was applying to Southeastern. So I really just couldn't get the call to ministry out of my head.
Yeah.
Once I had been planted there. And so from there, I've had some external affirmation of calling. People have encouraged me, and so from there.
Yeah. You never really know. Like you get a little sense that you want to do something larger than yourself, but then once that call is placed on you, it's like a ton of bricks that you can't really get off, and you just keep thinking about it all the time. How do you let that ton of bricks? How do you let that inform your day-to-day life? How do you use that calling for vocational ministry?
In several classes I've taken here, we are encouraged regularly that it's a high and holy calling that pastors have. It is a burden to shepherd souls for eternity. And so there's kind of a weight to it that it's important that I take seriously the training that I'm getting here.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just helps me frame how I'm interacting with my classes and how I'm doing my schoolwork.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. You got to walk that out daily, not just the schoolwork or house leadership, but you got to be a witness to everybody. And I think no matter what the calling is, that's our ultimate calling, to take the gospel to the nations. Go therefore and make disciples. You can't do that if you're not being a good witness, constantly being changed by the renewal of your mind. And I definitely see that in you guys. I think you definitely walk that out in day-to-day life. Since you guys have been here at Judson College or the college at Southeastern, whatever you want to call it, or even in your time before you came here, like you said, you did a stint at in engineering. What have been your favorite moments just in life? It doesn't have to be school related. Just what sticks out? What do you go back to? Happy thoughts.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just the friendships I've developed. In high school, most, if not all, of my male friends were not believers.
Mm-hmm.
So not like an edifying friend group that I was a part of, and just felt kind of isolated and alone just because I didn't have anybody to lean on when I was struggling with spiritual things, because I did not have friends that were believers.
Yeah.
So coming here to Southeastern and Judson College and just being able to live in a place that's surrounded by believers, and just my roommate last year, Wyatt, awesome guy. Just our relationship, I'm so thankful for, and the way that he's just walked through things with me and the relationship we've developed. Me and Caleb over the past year and a half or so have become really close friends, and I'm just very thankful for that. And just the highs and the laughing and the goofing off and being stupid is fun, but also just like when I've gone through tough stuff, like I've had not just friends but brothers around me that have been able to walk me through stuff.
Caleb?
On a lighter note,
yeah,
I have a funny story to tell.
Please.
So last year we were getting ready for a Schaeffer event. We'd ordered some pizza, get the pizza back here from Domino's, throw it in the oven just to keep it warm. Didn't have the oven on or anything, but it was in there just so it would stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
We had several pizzas, so a pizza ended up going down on the heating rack as well, on the heating coil at the bottom. So me and Ethan and Abby are all downstairs waiting for people to come down. Micah had decided that day he was going to cook Abby or bake her a cake because she's gluten-free. So she doesn't have cake very often, so he's going to make her a gluten-free cake. So he comes down, flips the oven on, and starts baking. A few minutes later, we see some smoke start to rise out of the burners on top of the stove. And all the dots immediately connected for all of us that the pizza was burning. So we open the oven, smoke explodes out. And so Micah and Ethan grab some towels and start waving them aggressively towards the window so that our smoke alarm does not go off. Yeah. So through much error, we get the pizza outside the window and are pouring water on the parts of the box that are burning. and then we later ate that pizza.
It was actually pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Disclaimer: I did not know that there were pizzas in the oven when I turned the oven on. It set off the
Yeah,
fire
no smoke
alarm.
alarm went off.
That's impressive.
It was.
How?
That was the main goal.
Because it's not like close to the window either.
No, and there's no ventilation.
Yeah.
And
Dang.
me and Ethan stood there with towels for probably like 10, 15 minutes just
Dang, bro.
trying to get all the smoke out.
I admire that, man. I truly admire that. Well, Grizz, can you bring me the pictures? I have some more questions for you guys. Thank you very much. So, Caleb Martin, I have a question from a fan. Do you know this man?
I do, yeah.
Yeah?
Mhm.
What do you know about this man and his position?
He orchestrates very much in Schaeffer House being a general manager.
Yeah.
Lots go on, according to him.
That's what I hear. Now, what do you think of his leadership skills?
I think he's got some great qualities, and I think just like the rest of us, there's some areas to grow.
Yeah.
Some room to mature and allow his budding flower to flourish.
Amen, brother. I think that's an amazing illustration that you've just drawn for us. I will relay that information to the GM. I'm sure that he would be delighted to hear that. But yeah, so can he count on your nomination for chancellor?
I don't know if the GM's quite ready for chancellor yet.
I understand that.
I think we would both love to see the GM stay the GM next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he does a great job as GM. I don't know the guy, so I've just heard through the grapevine. This guy does a great job leading the team, rallying the crew. I mean, I'd love to meet him one day.
Yeah, it's definitely not AI generated.
Nope.
Inspirational messages.
I actually hear that he does not condone AI.
He does not come in AI.
Yeah, one of the few things that everybody knows about GM Donnie Bongo is that he does not condone AI.
Yeah, man. I mean, what an inspiration to us all. You can go ahead and keep. You can hold on to that for me. Micah, do you know this man?
I do indeed.
What's his name?
His name is Doug.
Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware that you live with Doug?
Do I?
Do you?
I have a pillow of his face.
Okay. So you would say that you endorse this Doug?
Of course.
Now, are you aware that that is a convicted felon?
Doug is a convicted felon?
Yeah. Aggravated assault, battery, and 2 DUIs.
This is new to me. When did this happen? I've known Doug for like 12 years almost.
2015, 2016, March of 2018,
Okay.
and then just 3 months ago, he was arrested again. Would you say that you openly support this man?
I'm quite conflicted because I've known Doug for a long time, and he's been a dear friend to me. I'm going to have to talk to him about this because I did not know, and he never told me.
Interesting. Can I stay for a second?
Of course.
A vile man. Be on the lookout. If you see him in your neighborhood, call the GM. He'll know what to do. So being as it is, you guys are both in relationships at the moment. What would you say to offer some advice to all the couples who are getting together here? How do you remain in a relationship while being faithful to the Lord, but also keeping that relationship centered in Christ? Micah?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is that I've learned is just not idolizing the future.
Yeah. And
just being content with where God has put you now and being faithful with what he's given you to do now. And he has promised us things in the future, but I know in my own life there's been times that I get so caught up in wanting the next thing to happen and hoping and idolizing in the future rather than focusing on what God has given me to do now.
Yeah.
And then I think just you both individually have to be spiritually disciplined and both individually growing in your relationship with Christ, and in that way, through growing in your relationship with Christ, he will use that to sanctify your relationship and bring the two of you closer together through being close with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And Caleb, how would you say, like, how would you do that while still keeping the relationship fresh and lighthearted? I know that you've been with Mrs. Charlotte Williams for quite some time. So yeah, what words of wisdom could you offer us?
Yeah, one of the things that's helped us the most is boundaries.
Yeah.
Just laying down rules from the get-go that we're not going to cross these lines or even come close to them, and that creates a lot of room just to enjoy each other's presence and build a great friendship, which is the basis for a more fruitful relationship later in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it's hammered on here at Southeastern, to have these boundaries, and so just having implemented them and seeing the fruit of them, that's a great way to keep Christ at the center of the relationship. Because as you guys grow towards him, you'll grow towards each other.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's a great take. You hear it a lot, like you said, here at Southeastern. But it's something very important not to lose sight of, is to keep those boundaries there. And like you were saying, don't look too far to the future. A lot of people here get caught up with the ring by spring, the whole stigma to all of that. But it's important to take it day by day. A date is a date. Just be casual.
Be cool.
Be cool, y'all. That's rule number 1. So guys, as house leaders, when you clean your fish, do you walk the dishes before you scrub the bricks, or do you crawl on the side of the yellow?
I think I crawl on the side of the yellow.
Now, would you say that's because of Jupiter's rings and the timely planet destruction that also coincides with your unicycle?
I think so.
Okay. Mr. Martin?
I think I skipped down the sidewalk.
That's a bold take. It's a bold take. Skipping down the sidewalk can actually lead to cracked rocks and the polarity vortex.
He is known for being an outside the box thinker.
Definitely. I look at Caleb Martin and I think that guy's outside the box.
Precisely.
Yeah, thank you guys. That was amazing. Micah, I just have one question for you, and then that'll be it. Where is your pot of gold?
I've been asked this question pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
And what people don't know, or what people do know, is that gingers do not have souls and that we have a pot of gold. What they don't know is if I tell you where the pot of gold is, I have no chance of retrieving my soul.
Oh.
I've got to make it all the way to the end of my life without anybody finding the pot of gold, and then I get a soul. So, I can't tell you.
It's a good idea for a story. Thank you very much, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
I've really enjoyed your company and your time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, please get out of here.